G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. It is a pleasure to have your company here for some more 1v1 content. I've been reading a lot of the comments on YouTube and almost every single one of them, well, probably not every single one, but a lot of them are saying, where's the 1v1 content, Trongo? We want to see some more 1v1 casts. So here it is. We're bringing it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a casted game. It is a pleasure to have your company. Let's get into it and introduce our players for today. Spawning in on the south side of the map in the color red, playing as the Order of the Dragon. It's Wham01. Nice little opening we got going on here. A little bit of a Dark Age rush. It's Rush with the Spearman. Meanwhile, towards the north side of the map in the color orange, representing Team Elephant, it's Louis MT. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cliffside. A pleasure to have your company, as always. If you're feeling up to it, if you wouldn't mind going ahead and leaving a like on the video, it does really help out the traction of the content. Now, one of the things to note, though, is that in this game, we've got orange and red. I'm going to do my best here. Let's hit this button. We're going to turn one of them blue and one of them red. And I'm going to try and keep my hands off the keyboard, because one of the things I love to do is I love to check, line of sight as an example. But when we do that, all of a sudden, Wham turns to blue, even though he was just red seconds ago. It's one of the unfortunate things when it comes to casting in this mode, is that you're always looking at someone's perspective. There's no neutral perspective, which means that we'll try and watch right now with red and blue. I'm just going to put my hand, you know what? I'm putting my hand away, and I'm just going to be on the mouse today. That is it. You're not going to see much line of sight coming out for this start. But let's talk a little bit about this opening, because we're seeing an opening. I'll be honest, this is quite a common opening that we see from the Order of the Dragon, though I still feel like it's something that you probably wouldn't expect happening. Like right now, Louis undoubtedly was expecting to just be able to put an outpost up on top of his gold. The reality is he's going to have some trouble here, and you can see he's going to bring the Vils in. Manages to get this one down to 10 HP, one hit from taking it out. Meanwhile, the gold, you can see, has he picked up Tawara? He has. He's picked up Tawara, and that's why he doesn't have the gold in the bank, because normally he would have the gold to age up here. But he's gone and been a little bit greedy in the Dark Age, and subsequently we see all the Vils moving over onto the wood. Oh, this is exactly what going for Dark Age rushes is all about. It puts your opponent on the back foot, and they really have to just head back to the drawing board about what their plan is for the game. So really smart move here by Wham to do this. One thing to note is he could look to put pressure on the berries, but all the villagers are within the safety of that town center. It can always be a little bit of a gamble going for a Dark Age rush like this, especially when on a lot of the maps, sometimes you will get a very close spawn with the gold underneath the town center. So you can see right here the villagers, fortunately, they're going to be, right outside the town center. So Wham does find success here, does force the outpost early, is going to delay the age up. And remember, when you delay the age up, now you're delaying farms, you're delaying the ability to transition. And we do now start to see all these villagers, after finishing the outpost, are going to be feeling very good about themselves, because that means we can now go up safely to the castle age. And the truth is, like, he was always planning to get this outpost up. So I think if Wham's done anything in this game, it is that he's delayed the farms. That's pretty much it. Let's check in on the other side of the map, though. So if we have a look at Wham's Town Center, you can see that Wham's Town Center actually covers the gold. So Wham wouldn't have needed, if it was the other way around, if Louis was Dark Age rushing Wham wouldn't have even needed to do anything. He just would have let the town center do all the firing at him, and he just would have been chilling. So it's one of those things where it's a little bit frustrating that that this happens, because look, I mean, it's one of those tough things, right? Like Age of Empires 4, I remember going back and playing the very first Age of Empires, and it was procedural generation, right? Like the maps were always procedurally generated. You knew that if you got an archipelago spawn, what that meant, but it was always going to be a little bit different. And I think it's the same here with Cliffside. Obviously, the resource locations are randomized, but not just that, but you've got the distance from the town center that's also randomized. And I think that's the thing that I don't like, especially for starting resources. I'd love to see that changed. And I mean, I know it's something that's been brought up 1,000 times with the devs, and I'm sure that they've said that they're on it. But yeah, the truth is it still happens so often with little things like this. And he's just very fortunate today that he got the right spawn. But the age ups are now starting to come through. Minework Palace down for Wham01, Louis MT with the Kura Storehouse. Now, it's important to note these guys are both very evenly matched when it comes to their rankings. On the ladder, Wham is currently sitting at rank number 2. Louis on the ladder, currently rank 3. So they are very, very close, neck and neck. I think number 1 is Puppy Paw at the moment, but I mean, at the way that the ladder works, realistically, it's just about who plays the most is typically going to be getting the most points, just because you've got so much variation in skill. It's not really like, I guess if I was to think about, say, StarCraft, it would be quite a bit different just because there's quite a bit more, there's a bigger player base, and I think that's really what it comes down to. So with a bigger player base, you've got a lot tighter matches, whereas here you've got quite often, you know, Wham playing up against a platinum player or Wham playing up against a gold player, and he gets points out of it. I think he gets like 1 or 2 points, and so naturally you play against 20 gold players and you get a whole bunch of points, the same amount of points you probably get for beating Louis MT once. So who knows, maybe if he can pull off a victory today, that'll push him up even further. But we do have the age ups now complete. Archery range going to be coming in here for Louis. Meanwhile, Wham looks like he is intent on going up to the castle age. I do like the fact that he is going to stop off and make a Gilded Men-at-Arms, expensive though they are. Meanwhile, Outpost is going to be coming up. This is only because on the other side of the map, he has indeed seen that archery range coming up. It's going to be a double archery range coming through here for Louis. So looking to mix things up a little bit. Gilded Men-at-Arms now going to start pushing back this scout, saying, hey, get out of here. I don't want you to have any knowledge about what I'm up to. But the truth is, he already knows. He sees the outpost on the gold, and that's a pretty good confirmation. Anytime you see an outpost on the gold, it's normally a good confirmation. You know, in saying that, we do have an outpost on the gold right here. And Louis not doing anything related to castle. He's just going for a... We see archers, right? Okay, we see archers. I was a little bit concerned there. I was like, hold on, there's no archers coming out right now. And Louis not on gold. What's the plan here, Louis? But it looks like he's working it. He's working his magic, slowly but steadily. Now, keep in mind, these archers are very, very cheap. 30 food, 35 wood. Very, very cheap archers. So you're getting in great value here. The only issue is that you're not doing a whole lot of damage. We can see that he is... He's really fighting right now. He's doing 1 damage. He's going to take 230 shots to kill this elite, this early Gilded Men-at-Arms. Meanwhile, behind it looks like the Spearman will go down. He's going to be careful not to take any hits, though. That's the thing. The Yumi Ashigara is a little bit quicker, 1.38 movement speed than compared to 1.12. I shouldn't say a little bit quicker. It's quite a bit quicker than that. Because I think that naturally the next step up from 1.12 would be the 1.25, like the Archer, and they're as fast as a Palace Guard, 1.38. So there's no excuses right now not to be or to be getting hit. Wham's doing his best to buy time to age up. Will he be looking for Regnitz? Will he be looking for Burgraven? I think it's going to be Regnitz, just from the fact that we see the stable here. This is normally a really good indication that it is going to be a Regnitz, just because you wouldn't want to really mix and match things, especially with the Burgrave. You know, you kind of want to focus on infantry if you are opting for that. So it is going to be the Regnitz to the back of the town center. We see he leaves space around the town center as well, so that's going to be for his farms. 7 vills on the Regnitz. Now also looking to pick up additional upgrades. We see Golden Cuirass going to be coming through here. Keep in mind it is nicely discounted, but the archers looking to try and find an angle. Not going to be able to find too much success here. No arrow slits just yet. Obviously no stone picked up for him. Meanwhile, towards the north side of the map, we do see plenty of stone now starting to come through for Louis. He's really mixed things up. You know, I got to compliment these Japanese players that we are seeing recently. And that's Japanese players, not players from Japan. But that might be confusing. Players that are playing the Japanese rather than players that are from Japan. They're very good when it comes to flexibility, right? Like, a lot of players you'll see for playing as the Japanese, they'll be like, okay, I need to go Castle Age. I need to do my thing. And they just completely switch on a dime, depending on if there's aggression or not. So very well done here by Louis to do this. Now the question for me is he going to be able to deny relics? Because that's the name of the game. Whenever you're playing the Order of the Dragon, it is to pick up relics. Now, we don't see any relics in production at the moment, or any prelates in production at the moment, but perhaps he realizes that with this ram going down, he's probably got a bit of time before Louis starts picking up relics. The ram will be able to put pressure on the outpost, and keep in mind, though, that the villagers, they're going to need to take cover inside the outpost. There's only room for 5 out here. He's also got access to emergency repairs, but you can see that he doesn't even really look that interested in defending this position. He might just opt for a golder at the back, and that's exactly what he's going to do. Instead of taking and looking to defend the front position, he's just going to fall back, and I think this is a smart move. Takes a little bit of damage right here. His +1 ranged attack in. It does look like he has picked it up. So +1 ranged attack is now through. Ideally, one of the other things to note that Louis could be doing, instead of going for the second town center, is looking to go into the Daimyo Manor, and then that way he can pick up a Bannerman, and the Bannerman will further increase the damage of the Yumi Ashigaru by 1. And that's quite an important thing to actually be picking up. But we do see now the Gilded Knight has arrived, and this has got great synergy with the Prelate, because the Gilded Knight can run in, can take a lot of damage, and then you can heal it up. Now, Do we see emergency repairs come out? In fact, it's already come out. Have a look at that. He's now able to work it down. Going to be bringing back the units towards the front side of the town center. Villagers going to be forced out. Need to be very careful. Gilded Knight towards that top side. Might be going down if he's not careful. He's just looking to work down the battering ram. If he can get it, he's going to be very happy. Indeed, manages to get it down. 78 health remaining. And remember that he's going to have great success here because he's going to be able to heal back this Gilded Knight back up to full health. He'll get great value out of it. Meanwhile, towards the north side of the map, we're going to quickly check in on the perspective here of Wham. I just want to see exactly what he's scouted out and have a look at this. He does manage to see the relic. I'm curious, though, whether it's actually going to pop up on his mini-map or not, because he sees this part, which is always the giveaway for the relic, the little wagon that it's fallen off. You can see it's a poor little wagon right there. But he does manage to find this one. Maybe he's just looking to go for the further relics earlier rather than later. Second prelate now going to be coming out, get some decent healing, and you can see it's going to take time. But, I mean, when these units cost so much, 500 resources for one unit, it just kind of makes sense, right? Meanwhile, towards the top side, Louis's got a nice little patrol in. Wham's going to be spotting it out. Men-at-Arms going to be moving up here. They've got their Gilded upgrade, or not their Gilded, but they've got their Castle Age upgrade. He's trying to pick off this scout, wants to deny this food from coming through. Keep in mind that the relic is also there, so he's very aware. And now the Banner Man has been brought to the front as well. That's going to be increasing the damage of Yumi Ashigaru, so he'll need to pick up +1 ranged armor at this stage. So hopefully Wham looks to go to the mine work after realizing the Banner Man has joined in. But just as I say that, the Banner Man's down to 2 health. Gilded Knight up to 375. Still plenty of spearmen in here. Meanwhile, towards that top side, the prelate makes it back with the first relic. Age up now starting to come through from Louis. He's done very well to get back up into the castle age. Makes a connection here with the Yumi Ashigaru. Meanwhile, let's check back in the base. It is indeed the Daimyo Manor is online, just the first level. Floating gate, he very intentionally brought it back a little bit closer. Wants to make sure, nice little pickoff, wants to make sure that it doesn't have the opportunity of getting taken out the way that is so very common. Meanwhile, towards the middle of the map, second relic now going to get picked up here for Wham. Definitely needs to focus on bringing back the relics. Remember that 4 relics is his goal. 5 relics is amazing if you can get it. And 3 relics, look, it's good, but it's not great. We'll say that much. You can expect to get 3 relics. If you get 3 relics, you know, things are going okay for you. But you really want to try and get that 4th relic. So we'll see if Wham's going to be able to find it or not. He's got 1 in the bag, 2 on the way home at the moment. And more prelates now moving out here. Have a look at this. Hold your horses. Where is the Shinto priest? Has he not scouted? He has scouted. Why isn't he just taking the relics that he's seen? He's coming out here to look for the relics. Doesn't realize this was the first one that Wham took. What are the odds that the one that Louis is out here looking for? He knows how the map spawns. He knows that there should be one out here. The first one that was taken was the one. Is that some mind games right there or what? Does Wham just know that Louis always looks for this relic on this map? And now, oh gosh, can you believe it? This should have been. I mean, we've got Omnivision, so we kind of know, right? But this should have been a game where Louis was at least able to deny 1 relic. Meanwhile, it looks like Wham might pick up 5 relics. And I'll tell you right now, if you've got 5 relics as the Order of the Dragon, it's party time. It is party time. Well, hold your horses right now, Drongo, because there is cavalry taking out these relics, though they are on the opposite side of the map. At the moment, the Shinto priest is just going to be chilling out. Let's check in with the floating gate and see what the plan is, as he's still got to rally towards the backside. Optimistic to throw down this Shinto shrine already. Perhaps he's thinking about moving it to production on the front, maybe another forge on the back. Definitely needs to recover this relic, though. This is going to be a big component of it. Have a look at this. Prelate sneaking it. Meanwhile, towards the top side, Scout looking to neutralize. Couple more. Louis is finding a way through here. Where are all the forces from Wham? That is my question, because Wham had some Gilded Knights out here. The only thing is, he's lost the first relic. Second relic now sitting on the ground, and I saw a Shinto priest around here. Maybe it was the one down towards the south. This guy's making his way back towards the topside sacred site. He could have just chilled on the sacred site. He would have been collecting gold. He would have been a happy camper. Meanwhile, I mean, this has been a very, very nice play with the Onimusha. The fact that he's been able to get out onto the map, deny 2 relics, that's incredible. That's considering he was down and out. Like, if you've got 5 relics, dude, just sign it out. Like, that's it. It's over. Well and truly, needs to make sure he focuses this prelate down. You can see the prelate now is going to be able to pick up the relic. ideally here, the focus should just be on that prelate. But you can see now with the second one in the back to support, and it's just a case of Louis making a mistake here. I'm just going to call it out right now. You know, he might be the rank 3 player right now on the ladder, but that to me, that's an objective mistake. This Shinto priest, instead of being focused towards this top side, it should have been focused towards the relics. It should have been picking these up. You've just given over a relic to your opponent that they never should have had. I mean, the fact that he managed to pick this relic up in the first place is kind of, it's disappointing, but he did well to get it back. Unfortunately, wasn't able to maintain possession of it, Louis MT. Meanwhile, have a look at this. You know, we can talk about the minutiae of like, oh, this prelate should have gone here, or this Shinto priest should have gone there, all you like, but when it comes to decision making, have a look at this. 3 town centers being dropped down at the same time, or 2 town centers being dropped down at the same time for Louis MT. He is looking to go very heavy on villages. Meanwhile, Gilded horsemen coming through. Wham looks like he's probably going to be going to Imperial Age. Definitely the right call here. I'm curious whether Louis follows him up. I feel like it's almost mandatory to follow them up once they go Imperial Age, especially in a matchup like this where it's largely infantry based. I say that, yet we see so much cavalry just starting to run around right now. Louis got a huge mass of Onimusha. I mean, technically they're cavalry, but they're kind of infantry, right? Like, they're crossbows. We all know that you're crossbows. Palace of Swabia now going to be coming up here. Remember, whenever you're putting your Palace of Swabia down, you want it on the wood line. It just makes it really easy because you rally over to the wood line, and then you take those villagers from the wood line and you start throwing farms down with them. You don't throw the villagers. Do not harm villagers. No villagers were harmed in the making of this video, except for the 3 that have already gone down, and inevitably dozens more that will go down throughout this game. But let's continue moving forward here and take a look at the army size that we've got beginning to build up here. 8 Gilded crossbowmen. Both players going into their unique crossbows. I was going to say they're the only civs with unique crossbows. They are far from it. You've also got the Abbasid to remember. But the age up now coming through. So let's talk a little bit about why this 3 town centers is so smart. Louis knew that his opponent was going to be going Imperial Age. He knew that he would be going for Swabia. So what does he do? He says, well, I've got to make sure that I can keep up with you. I need to make sure that I don't fall behind you. So not only am I going to make sure that I don't fall behind you, I'm going to make sure I've got a nice little lead as well. So not only is the Swabia printing villages, or at least it should be printing villages, there we go. The town center is also going to be producing villages, which gives him the equivalent of 4 town centers worth. So eventually Wham will catch up to Louis. However, it's going to take some time. So keep in mind also, in addition to that, the Order of the Dragon villagers are quite a bit stronger than the standard villager. And as a result, you can expect that his economy is still going to be pretty decent, even though he is behind. On top of that, he's also got 4 relics, which is always a feels-good moment. Probably back here in an outpost. Indeed, it is in an outpost. He's probably going to need to get a bombard emplacement through soon. Rather, a cannon emplacement. I always get bombard and cannon mixed up. But now moving into the base, Onimusha with quite a bit of speed. Gilded crossbowman chilling out. He's got the elite upgrade as well for a little bit more damage, a little bit more health. All sacred sites now taken, and the villager count is starting to fall. He's taken out another 4 villagers so far. A lot of damage is coming through. I'd love to see the cannon emplacement, though. I don't know if it's really necessary at this stage. I feel like maybe walls are just a little bit more necessary, right? Like a nice little wall just up here along this. Throw in the gate on the top side. You're going to be fine. Just keeps the raiders out. Keeps the rabbits out, we'd say in Australia. Meanwhile, towards that east side, sacred site is neutralized. Just remember, he wasn't really going for a sacred victory, right? Like, you're just taking it for the gold at this stage of the game. There's no way you're going to be able to hold these 3 sacred sites at the same time. Shinto priest, very carefully moving towards the top. Just so smart, right? Like, he moves it up there. As soon as the sacred site gets neutralized and he runs away, the Shinto priest will come back. Fortunately, the sacred site isn't neutralized. We got Onimusha looking to chase down some of these crossbows. They're going to get some good shots off here. He's going to be careful with them, though. A lot of health on these units. Gilded Man at Arms comes forward, does the right thing and just runs straight past them, going straight for the crossbows. Look at the damage that these elite crossbowmen are copping as well. You can see why the Onimusha are so damn good, man. They have got insane attack speed, and they're just able to cut through these Gilded crossbowmen like a hot knife through butter. A single Lench connector here would have just changed this completely, but obviously that's an expensive investment. Towards that east side, looks like the sacred site is once again being neutralized. As long as he just goes after this Shinto priest, he'll be fine. But it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Gilded Man at Arms also going to be looking to defend here. Taganashima Gunsmith now coming through for Louis. Impressed that he's been able to find the resources to not only go 3 TC, but to be able to have units out on the map contesting all these positions, taking 3 sacred sites, and go Imperial. That's kind of impressive, not gonna lie. That's a lot to be doing. That's a lot to be micromanaging, multitasking, all of that. So the Taganeshima Gunsmith going to be coming up. No real surprise here. The question is, which angle does he look, though? Does he look to go into hand cannoneers, which could be very, very nice in this matchup? Or does he look to go into Ozutsu? Could be another option. Or, if he really wanted to, he could play into Reboldaquin. You've got to be very careful going into Reboldaquin, though, because you're up against an opponent with not only longer range crossbows, but crossbows that are about to have Bodkin bolts. Bodkin bolts increases the damage that crossbows deal against siege by 20. That is next level insane. How much damage these guys can do. Bodkin bolts has always been one of my favorite upgrades for the Order of the Dragon. Even though it's really not that good, just the idea behind it, I like it a lot. And it does have some interesting breakpoints. But we do see it's going to be Ozutsu that he is going to be training now. And you can actually see he is training them. 155 gold. Very expensive unit. Going to be capable of dealing AoE as well as taking down buildings. Incredibly powerful against buildings. Get a 130 bonus against buildings. So meanwhile, towards that top side, once again, going to be looking to capture the sacred site. He's just relentless taking these sacred sites. Very, very well played here by him. I'd love to see some walls up, though, just to prevent those little run-bys that we have been seeing. So hopefully that happens. Speaking of run-by, Onamusha's down towards the south side. Springwood emplacement? What do we got coming in here? Yeah, Springwood emplacements. Could be very nice at protecting. We also see the fortification coming through on these outposts. A little bit curious. I don't know why you'd need... Why you feel the need for fortifications down here, but I'm going to let the man cook. Meanwhile, speaking of cook, have a look at this. Farming economy is starting to come up as well. You can see just how well he's done it. Oh, I'm going to have to issue a citation here. Distinct lack of lumber camp. But look, I'm not going to get too mad about it. It's just going to be a small citation from the macro police. Meanwhile, let's check in the base of Louis. Louis still with a 20 villager lead at the moment. But remember, there are those other factors to consider. Number one, these are Order of the Dragon villagers. So you can take this and times it by, you know, maybe 20%, somewhere in that region. On top of that, you've also got relics to consider. At the moment, it's a 4-to-1 advantage. Whew. Calm down, fellas. 8.5 tiles of range on top of the wall in the middle of the map. How cute are you, Louis MT? This is the perfect word to describe it, right? Like, it's cute. What you're doing here is very cute. There's no other word for it. Like, tactical, definitely not. Dude, these things absolutely blast ass as well. Look at this. I'm curious to see whether he goes for the backline or whether he looks to focus the front. Ozutsu just getting melted. They've got that extra damage reduction, but they get absolutely obliterated by the elite crossbowman. Loses 4 Ozutsu in that very quick engagement. Now the battering ram's going to start coming out. No need for bombards. Who needs bombards when you got battering rams, right? Now able to take out that Stonewall Gate. Outpost with the cannon emplacement inside, or bombard emplacement, cannon emplacement. I can never do it right. He's going to look to try and take out this central outpost. Really wants to avoid this going down. It's a huge investment to put into it, but unfortunately that emplacement does get lost with the outpost. Meanwhile, on the backside, you can see how well those Bodkin bolts work. Taking out the Mangonel immediately. Reboldaquin in queue as well, but I fear for it. I'll be honest, I fear for it. Now towards that top side, more and more battering rams making their way through to the base. Samurai are going to start working down on those battering rams. Elite Gilded Men-at-Arms has come through. He's going to have to fall back. Even though Louis got the advantage when it comes to the economy, you can definitely feel the tempo is in favor of Wham at this stage of the game. Mango Shot comes off. Barely does any damage. Immediately, you can see the Bodkin bolts coming through from those Gilded Elite Crossbowmen. And look at them almost one-shotting the Reboldaquin. Who needs Springolds when you got these bad boys? Have a look at this. This is incredible watching these guys in action. They've got a total of 41 ranged damage. Keep in mind that the Reboldaquin has got 0 ranged armor. They're literally doing 41 damage a pop. That's like a Springwood, basically. Not really. It's like half the damage of a Springwood, but you get the picture. Meanwhile, stone walls have come up around the edges of the map. Very aggressive stone walls, but, you know, Wham said, you know, you don't really need stone walls, brother. I'm just going to attack you in the middle anyway. Meanwhile, Town Center's going to start going down here. Don't be fooled by this landmark blueprint that once was. It's not a real landmark. The real landmark's over here, so don't be too worried about it. Let's check in with the Yoroshiros and see how he's doing. It looks like he's thrown 3 into the backside. I don't know where the 4th one is. Here it is over here. So all of them going towards gold. So we've got passive gold generation coming through for both of these players now. A little bit of a counterattack. Nope, it's just villagers. Springwood emplacement. Cannon emplacement. Jeez, you got some money over there. That's for sure, Louis. That is a lot of money. Now, where's Louis's defense right now? He's thinking about going into siege. The truth is he needs siege works. So what siege works is going to do is it's going to increase the armor of his siege. And this is the most important upgrade. So it increases the ranged armor of siege by 10. And it means that now the breakpoint the mangonels have, instead of 30 ranged armor, they will have 40. And it means that the 41 damage that your opponent is doing, instead of that being 11 damage, it's now 10. You're effectively reducing the enemy's damage by like more than 90%, which is kind of crazy, especially when you see how quickly these mangonels get shredded by the very unit that they are meant to counter. And now moving forward with a huge keep on the front line, Wham says, wham bam, thank you ma'am. We're going to look to seal this game nice and early with this keep coming down. Continuing to kite away, Ozutsu numbers have fallen significantly, and the elite crossbows are really the heroes of this game. That single upgrade, Bodkin Bolts, is carrying incredibly hard, and that's part of the reason why we often see players go into that mine work rather than going into the Archon. Not just because of the Bodkin Bolts, but because of those unique upgrades. Another ticket's now coming through. Couple more Ozutsu. I feel like maybe going into hand cannoneers would have been a better option for him here. Even the Bombard's probably a better option than like the Raboldequin but the Ozutsu just feel like they're getting torn apart. Though I guess the reality is if you go into the hand cannoneers, they're probably just going to get kited. The superior range here of the elite Gilded Crossbowmen is very difficult to deal with. Meanwhile, inside the base, we see this keep is just... It's starting to get serious over here. Like this is a big threat. This is a big problem. Double siege workshop looking to try and take out the command post here. The Shogunate Castle, the big boy in the front. Ozutsu on the back going to start teeing off. Not doing a whole lot of damage. Are they just doing 1 damage a shot? Well, that was the Mango. Mango's definitely doing more. Yeah, they're doing 1 damage a shot right here. Slowly but steadily. Now, Ozutsu range is pretty good as well. I think, yeah, they've got 6.5 tiles of range. You know what? Ozutsu is definitely the right call in this situation. I think it's just about building up an appropriate mass. Onobligation now going to start coming forward. They do have their elite upgrades through as well. Town center, not going to be going anywhere. You're going to need a lot to take down this town center. But with this keep coming online, I feel like going into bombards is the right choice rather than just having rams out. Bombards are definitely going to work through this a lot faster than the rams, and hopefully, well, we see a castle coming down as a response. Meanwhile, more rams coming out towards this west side of the map. Keep in mind, 3 sacred sites still all taken at the moment. Slowly working down the keep. You might have to think about getting some villagers here, though. I am fearful about the range of that keep. Indeed, it's perfect. And it means that this worker that's on the backside may be going down. Ozutsu going to be moving forward to take down the keep. Mangonel also pushing up. He needs to bring villagers to repair this town center if he wants to keep it alive. The Shogunate Castle will be going down unless this castle can come up on time. Hold your horses, Drongo. The Onobligation are here. They clear it out, and the Ozutsu, well, they've got no fear as they take down this forward position. And Louis MT's looking to perform a very solid Japanese defense here. Culverin on the back. Wham, why are you making Culverin? Wham, you don't need Culverin, my friend. You just make more gilded crossbows and you'll be fine. But you know why Wham's making crossbows, or rather making Culverin? It's because this upgrade is coming through. Siege Works. Naturally, you can expect your opponent to be going into Siege Works eventually when they see that you've got all of these gilded crossbowmen out here. Finally got their +3 ranged attack as well. One thing to note is we don't have the incendiary arrows for them. Let's check. I want to have a look at the universities back here. I'm sure there it is. So no incendiary arrows, despite a huge amount of elite crossbows on the field. I would have loved to have seen that because what is that? Oh, that's the inspiration. Extra 15% damage and 1 armor. Dude, imagine with incendiary arrows on top of that. That'd be kind of wild, the kind of numbers that they could reach. Surely, like, you're talking, that's 25 damage. Incendiary arrows is an extra 20% damage. So you're talking 30 damage, and then the 50 from Bodkin Bolt, or the 20 from Bodkin Bolts is 50? They could absolutely destroy. Dude, you know what? I feel like that's kind of underused, the inspiration. 15% damage and 1 armor. I mean, the armor's not that big. It's that extra 15% damage, because when you've already got such high damage, it just elevates it even more. And it has such a great effect against armor, or against armored units, yeah. Meanwhile, towards that gold mine, Onobligation now starting to break through. Outpost, no emplacement. It's just going to get sieged down so damn quickly. 24 torch damage on each of these Brigatia. Very, very quickly goes down. A couple of crossbowmen here. We're going to try and deflect. I was talking about the prospect of walls earlier. I think at that time I was just talking about palisades. Definitely feels that you might need more than palisades to keep the Honor Bagesha out. It looks like it's going to be stone walls coming through for Wham. Definitely the smart call here. Cannon in placement. Should be able to keep this position alive. Hopefully doesn't lose too many vills. Already this game he's lost 31, but have a look at the villager advantage. I've just realized right now, I guess that's the consequence of losing town centers. And speaking of losing town centers, have a look at this as Wham begins to walk through the base of his opponent. Oh, he spots the relic. He spots the relic. He says, how you doing over here, Louis? Don't mind if I take myself a little bit of a relic, do you? Meanwhile, the Ozutsu are like, ain't gonna be happening, chief. Get on out of here. Meanwhile, back towards that south side, Honor Bagesha wreaking havoc inside the base of the Order of the Dragon. He's looking to try and pick up some villager kills here. But you can see that Wham's not going to be able to do that on the other side. Mango, it's got its siege works in. 40 damage now, or 40 ranged armor. Going up against the Gilded Crossbowmen. They've only got 42 damage, so you can see the Mango's going to be more than capable of surviving here. It should just turn around and look to try and face off. Meanwhile, Honor Bagesha, slowly but steadily, being chased down. Elite Gilded Men-at-Arms, so damn tanky. He's trying to fire off at these crossbows. You can see he's trying to path his way through. No real front line for him, though. He needs samurai. He needs something to deal with this. The only problem is, as soon as you start building up a nice big mass of samurai, Lunge Connector are going to come out. And when the Lunge Connector come out, well, you can kiss your little butt goodbye, because they are very difficult to deal with here. But now, meanwhile, towards that middle of the map, more Bagesha looking to clean up. He's trying to do his best to channel his inner Japanese and take down all the villagers here. Whether it's going to happen, though, is a different matter, because Wham's pretty on the ball here. Culverin firing off, just in case there's any siege out on the field. We also see the Uma Bannerman coming out. A little bit of a curious decision to go into Uma Bannerman. Maybe he's thinking about moving into cavalry. Perhaps that could be the play. You can see he does have horsemen coming out, yet to receive their veterancy. Also going into biology, so definitely going to be going into cav here. Thinks the only way I can really deal with this is through cavalry. So interesting decision. One thing to note, though, he's completely locked down this farmland at the back. So there's not a huge food economy that's currently rocking for Louis. Second town center going to be coming up. Realizes he's lost a few villagers. Might need to think about replacing them. And that's part of the reason why the Swabia is so good. Because even if you tank out villagers, Swabia does not care, dude. Swabia just starts printing them again. It's like a 3D printer for villagers. Horsemen now going to be moving up. Biology upgrade about to come through. Only veterancy on these horsemen. Doesn't have the elite upgrade just yet. Has got plenty of gold in the bank. Not enough food for it. Meanwhile, towards the front, we hear more cannon emplacements going off. What is it? Yeah, bombards of some sort. Looks like the cleanup will be happening. So very smart move here, switching into cav. Has finally realized the only way I can deal with these crossbowmen is with their direct counter. Cavalry. Even the Mangonel, which is considered a direct counter, doesn't do it. Gilded Men-at-Arms now. Going to be forcing these villagers back. Double battering ram, triple battering, quadruple battering, quintuple battering ram. Oh, baby, it's a quintuple. Oh, yeah. Looking to try and put some pressure now on this keep. Obviously, could move into the bombard, but I don't know how you're going to protect it against all that cavalry. Finally, those Honor Bagesha have gone down. Jeez, they were doing some work back there. Louis taking out 47 workers, and have a look at it. I've just realized. Have a look at this. 4 military units against 81. Oh, I don't know about this game, guys. I don't know about this game, guys. I think Wham might have it. I'm going to say it right now. Wham's in a pretty good spot. Bombard's out on the back, looking to tee off. Culverin probably needs... Oh, that's a double bombard. He's used tickets for the double bombard on the Taganashima. Definitely a smart move here. Bombard's going to be retreating as the Culverin fire off. So many Gilded Men-at-Arms here. If the castle goes down, the Japanese go down, and indeed they do. A beautiful game coming through here from Wham01. Wham01. He takes the victory. Ladies and gentlemen, go check him out. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch him live over on Twitch. Incredible gamer. We'll leave it there, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.